Hey guys, John here. I'm super excited to be making this video because Pigments 4 is finally here. I have been waiting for this update for quite a while and I'm super happy with it. It is very awesome and I've cherry picked a couple of the things that I really think makes this update amazing. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at here is this new light theme. And generally I kind of lean more towards darker themes. I think it's a little bit easier on the eyes. However, with that being said, this theme looks clean and it actually looks really good, and I'll probably start using this more so in the future because sometimes when we change themes, it can almost spark a little bit more creativity because we kind of maybe look at things a different way and we might approach things a slightly different way as well. So the way we would change that is up in the top left menu here under theme, we have the classic dark theme and we have the light theme, which is now selected here. Very cool. So that's more of a visual thing. Also, the buttons and the knobs look a little bit different. Some of the things are in slightly different spots, but it's really it's like it got a whole facelift. It looks really, really, really nice. So the next thing is more so a quality of life change. Now, this is a feature that I thought would be really cool. Pigments is very fast to use, and with this drag and drop feature, it is even faster than that. So if we have a saw wave right here, and we want to modulate the cutoff with an envelope, we would originally have to press the plus and kind of drag it up or go into the actual modulator, but now we can just drag and drop it just like that. And we can change the amount over here, which is really cool. One thing though I wish that they would add, which I think they probably would at some point, but let's turn this off for now and double click it and move our mouse and it's gone. So let's say we have an LFO and we drag the LFO on here. It would be cool if we could right click this and maybe change from bipolar to unipolar. That would be kind of cool instead of having to actually go to the LFO and select the button down here. That would be a nice addition, but I am very happy with this. This makes it so much easier to work with. And while I'm looking at this page, I like how there's like the red, the gray, or what kind of color is that? Maybe white, but it has to be gray because it's a white theme. And then the blue for the noise. I thought that was a nice touch right there. So I thought I'd just point that out right over there. Next up, we have the play mode, which up here on the top where we would generally have synth, FX, and sequencer. On the left is going to be play. Now, this reminds me a lot of when you're saving a preset and you can kind of see the overview on the right-hand side of what everything's doing. This seems like that kind of concept, but more of an interactive way. And it's kind of cool. At first I was kind of like, what is the benefit of this? And then kind of actually using it and looking at it, it's kind of nice because it kind of strips away a lot of the complexity of patches and makes it a little bit more, I guess, intuitive to use and kind of leaves you with the base controls. But you can still use a lot of things that actually make this stuff. So like in the analog engine, we can still choose different waveforms and it's simplistic and it looks nice and it's easy. We have our tuning, we have some FM amounts, the volume and stuff like that. So you still have the core stuff, but it's a much simpler kind of thing. And also the modulation window here in the center looks really, really cool. So 10 out of 10 for the design team. This looks fantastic. So moving on from this, because I think the play mode is pretty awesome, definitely play with it, and you have access to basically everything with your FX right here and sends, and very, very, very cool. So moving on from there, we have a new filter, and we already have quite a few filters, so this one's kind of cool as well. So this is going to be the MS-20. So actually, let's go to a new preset, get a fresh start here, go back to our analog. Let's get 2 saw waves and 8 voices of unison with a little bit of drift. And turn that down just a little bit here. So here is our new filter, the MS-20. And the real kicker is how wild this resonance knob is. Check this out. Look at this thing right here. Bam! That peak is crazy right there. That is a wild resonance knob right there. Might want to wear gloves for that one. And we have a mode right there, low pass 12 and then a high pass 6. So technically we have 2 filters, really, if you think about it that way. I could play with that filter all day. That thing sounds awesome. So moving on from that filter, another quality of life change is over here in the LFO section. And if you don't know already, we are about 30 something videos into the How to Use Pigments course, which is great because this update came out before we're going to talk about modulation. So it's kind of perfect timing that the update came now, because we're going to be going through every single knob and control. So it's kind of nice that we're going to start the modulation section with a brand new update. That's really awesome. So to kind of just brush over this a little bit, on the LFO section, we can now select the different shapes of our waveforms. Now that might sound like a basic thing, like, oh yeah, just select the waveforms, it's whatever, like how you select up here, but that's actually a huge move, because before, to kind of just make a saw, you would have to turn a couple knobs, and sure, I mean, it's not hard or difficult, it was another step, and it took a little bit extra time, and that time eventually does add up. Now this is super convenient because we have a sine, we have a triangle, a square, saw, the ramp, which is just a saw opposite polarity, and then we also have random, which is kind of cool. We have this just random over thing. So let's go to LFO 1, go to the cutoff and see what happens. So it's basically like a sample and hold, just a random value every so often. But wait, there's more. That's not all. So in this LFO section here, now we have we click this Hertz button right here, and now we have the menu here. We have the saying, straight only, triplets only, dotted only, which is kind of cool because let's say we go to triplets only right here. Now the slider is only going to be in triplets. So it's basically almost categorizing it. Very cool. So moving on from there, the phase modulation has been improved. So if we go to a new preset, we're already here on the wavetable. So let's dial in maybe just a saw wave or something like that here. Let's get some voices in here. Now we have frequency and ring modulation, which is kind of cool. I should mention that as well. So we're going to be diving into that again at some point because we have to do some updates in the future for the course. But over here in the phase mod, so check out how cool this sounds. Add the new filter to that as well. And that even sounds amazing right there. That is literally just a saw wave, some unison, and playing around with a filter with some phase modulation. Very, very cool. If you're kind of unfamiliar with phase modulation, there is a section in this course, a couple videos back, where we all talk about it as well. So you can revisit that if you would like to know more about phase modulation. So moving on from there, another thing that I think is amazing, also mentioned in the manual, is there's even more CPU improvement. Because as we all know, before, Pigments would be kind of a CPU hog, especially if we have a lot of things going. The Harmonic engine does take a lot of CPU. If we have a lot of effects, it can add up over time. And I love the synth so much that I want to use it all the time in a lot of instances. So CPU improvements are always welcome. I think that's one of my favorite things, I guess, as well. A lot of them are my favorite. It's such a cool update. So moving on from there, let's go to our effects because there's some new stuff coming up. And we just finished up every single effect module for 3.5. And as I did say in that last video, we're going to be moving to the sequencer. However, there's been slight change of plans because this great update decided to come out and we have two different modules to go over. So we're going to briefly touch on the new ones before we dive in for the specific video for each module like we always do. So for this one, let's go to an analog as usual, 2 saw waves and full voices of unison with some default drift as well. So let's go to our FX tab, let's remove the stock reverb, and under the delay, let's click this over here. In our drop-down menu now looks different. So one of the first cool ones that I would like to show you is under the reverb section, we have Shimmer now. Now this is really cool sounding. Take a listen. So we have pitch shift right here, which is kind of really the whole meat and potatoes. Let's put this up to 24 and see how that sounds. That tail, man. Very cool. We're going to be diving into that. We're going to make a specific video in the course just for this module like we do for all the other ones. A very, very cool addition. And moving on from there, this is what I was talking about. So if you're not familiar with it, I've always wanted to have some type of unison that works in conjunction with the harmonic engine, because all the other engines have unison, and I kind of felt like the harmonic engine was kind of left out. Maybe that was due to CPU. I'm not exactly sure, but I think this solves the issue quite well. So clicking down on the FX menu as well, we have Super Unison. So let's take a listen to what that sounds like. Let's take our actual unison off here because that could be slightly confusing. So in our FX, let's turn this off. We have two saw waves and they're slightly doing the drift thing, which that's fine. Now let's turn on Super Unison. We have our voice count, so we can go up to 8. And a filter down here as well. Which we're going to be diving deeper into it, like I said, with its own specific video, but I wanted to let you know that now this is an effect with Super Unison, so you can use that in conjunction with the harmonic engine and not have to cheat it with chorus. So this is kind of cool. A very, very cool addition to that, because I think that was one of my last things that I really wanted it to have. So yeah, so moving up from there, there's a couple more updates for the effects here. So we have in the distortion and the multi-filter. So let's go to the, where is it now? I'm still getting used. Okay, here's a multiband here. Not the multiband, the multi-filter. See, I'm all lost over here. Multi-filter, here we go. So before we had the low pass, high pass, band pass, and the comb filters. Now we have a notch in here, which is pretty cool. And this notch is also, where is it here? In the distortion here on this filter here. We select this on, we select high pass, and it is over here now for the notch. Definitely a cool addition. And one of the other effects that are the updates to one of the effects is in the bit crusher over here. We now have this jitter knob over here. And if we hover our mouse over it, it says applies randomization to the downsampling frequency. So let's get some downsampling going. Something nasty like that. Now that's with full jitter there. We also have a smooth knob. Interesting sound right there. So there's more stuff coming up in this update. There's more stuff in this update. You should read the manual about it. It's very descriptive about it. Plus also you should, if you're watching this video kind of currently, go check out the website because there still might be a deal on Pigments, and there's also a deal on some new presets that came with it, because there's a like 60 something. Let's see what it says exactly. So there's 63 new samples, 63 new wavetables, and 60 new noises. And noises are kind of a big deal because that's there's a lot of texture you can add to your sound. That's a lot of stuff that you can maybe sound older or more retro or something like that. So definitely recommend to check those out. And I think right now it's like $20 to get what, 450 something presets, something like that. So yeah, I highly recommend to check those out. There's a lot of new presets here as well in these sound banks. So if we go to our banks right here, we go to our sound banks, and we have a Pigments 4. So let's kind of check a couple of these out as well. Here's Ambient Fold. Here's 120 for Pigments 4. Oh, that's kind of cool, kind of acid right there. And then with that $20 thing, you can get like, it's the Wavelength Cinematic, Wavelength Lo-Fi, and Wavelength Neurobase. So let's check out some of these cinematics here. Let's go for our type, and let's see. Let's look at some of these pads. Pads are always awesome. Jeez, that's fantastic. Some classic synth pads here. Ooh, some sequences. Oh, I could already hear a song with that one. So that's some of the cinematic stuff. Let's see the lo-fi. Interesting bass sound here. Angel's Dragon, that's got to be cool. But yeah, highly recommend to check them out yourself. Let's do a couple more of the neuro basses, and then we're going to be closing out this video. So what do we have over here? Oh, that is nasty. Jesus. So yeah, that's 150 presets in that one, another 150, I think this is 150 as well. So yeah, 450 presets for 20 bucks, not a bad deal. Plus, just give Arturia your money because they make great things, and I say that from a non-sponsored thing because this honestly is probably my favorite synth because it can do just about everything, and it is so user-friendly, and it has not failed me once. So with that being said, we're going to be closing out this video. To the team at Arturia, you guys did a fantastic job. I'm so happy I bought this synth. I would probably buy it again just because it's really good, and I like giving you my money because it's great stuff. So yeah, anyway, we're going to be closing out the video. Thank you so much for watching, and like I mentioned a little bit before in the in this video, we're doing a long how to use Pigments course. Started off with 3.5. Now that 4 is out, we're going to be switching to 4 and kind of just moving on from there and recovering some stuff that has changed from there. So if you would like to learn Pigments from the beginning, definitely I will link the playlist here so you can watch that as well. If you're a new viewer, definitely subscribe because there's going to be a lot of new content coming. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video where we're going to go more into FX modules. It's going to be fun. See you in the next one.